Welcome back. Today we're going to be repainting Gordrak, the Fist of Mork, on his Maw Crusher. So what I've done is I couldn't spray this because I wanted to leave like the underbelly painted this color, this brown, and I wanted the black to be on here still because that would be tedious as hell to go through and repaint all that. I couldn't rip him off, so I had to go and just paint with a brush on some of these pieces to get the white base coat on. And we did a decent job. I didn't have to do a great job at doing it, but we got there. So this will be my first time kind of using this stuff over the top of paints like this. So we'll see how the contrast does, because I'm going to turn this guy to red. Also, we have painted our actual Mega Boss with our paint scheme, and I love it. I think it looks dope. So yeah, let's get going with the Blood Angels red, and let's get this Maw Crusher painted and all the red on him as well too. So let's grab it. Let's start. Kind of just pick a spot and go for it, I guess. I'm leaving the straps brown also, even though it's not the exact brown that we used. It's the leather brown. It's good enough, I think. I think it's to not make us have to redo this whole Maw Crusher. We're gonna have to be okay with some color differences in it versus our other stuff, but I don't think you'll be able to really tell for the most part. So we're just gonna start going at it, getting all the surfaces, and hopefully like maybe the black wash underneath will give us some more different shades on here. We'll see. See how it works when it's combined with this stuff. Okay, let's get here. This is a big model, so pardon me if I get it out of view. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just trying to maneuver it the best way I can to get it painted. It's going to be awkward in some of these spots. Especially, well, this won't matter too much because of the color we will be painting the wings. So we can get in here and get this. We'll definitely have to let it dry though before we move forward. But like always, we'll try not to get it on the spots that we don't want to. Make sure we're getting all those white spots covered. And here, some sneaky ones. And then this is gonna be awkward. I think when I originally built this guy, I didn't attach him to his base before I painted him. So you know, getting a lot of these areas was easier. But also, I mean, like, can you even say unnecessary? Because like you can't even see it, like ever, like inside there underneath his hands. But we're trying our best here to get what we can. You know, if someone really wanted to pick this thing up and go in there and look at it. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna keep the teeth the color they are. So just be careful around them. Worst case scenario, we can go in with a white and re-get them, but trying to save ourselves some extra work here. And we gotta get under here. There's a line that I did for the skin versus the underbelly, the soft underbelly. Do I leave his head white at the top of his head? Is that a cool look? I don't know. Let's do some exploring, shall we? Yes. Just get those little right between the fangs. I was gonna rip off all the stuff off this base, but then I realized I didn't have to because I wasn't priming it, so I didn't have to rip the tufts and stuff off like I did on everyone else, which, let me tell you guys, this stuff was a pain in the butt to get off. I can't get the snow off, which is fine. It's fine. The snow is fine on there. Because I'm just going over it with the basing material stuff anyway, so it's fine. The things had to come off though. The grass had to come off, just because it would be so hideous if I sprayed over that. Okay, so now here we're going to be a little bit kind of careful at where our line is right there, separating the soft bits from the hard scaly bits. I don't know if this video is going to be just the Maw Crusher, and then the next one will be Orruk himself, but we'll see how long it takes to get this guy even coated in red, so that'll kind of be our measure. Plus it is pretty spicy hot today. Which, thankfully it's not as hot as my old place, because that place got hot. But this place is better insulated. Yeah, I tried to get him off, but I glued him on there pretty good, because I think there was a couple incidents where he came off. I was like, I need to get him secured on here. So I just super secured him with some glue on there. So he's not going anywhere. At least I don't think he is. But this thing has broken so many times, the little banner on top of his head. That's come off a number of times. You just reglue it every time. You can try pinning it and all that. I don't think it's gonna help if you have this model. Just kind of go with it and leave it. Okay, I'm gonna leave his eyes blue. I think they look pretty cool. And it'll be like our throwback to our old paint scheme. God, this guy's hard to get a grip on. Where did I get all this on my finger from? Let me just put pinky up there. And it's because we're trying to preserve some of these colors that we're taking this extra slow right here on a new model that you probably have. You wouldn't be doing this unless you bought it from secondhand from a guy on eBay or something, which is also a valid way to get models. A lot of people strip the paint first. I do not. I don't. You're not caking it on. And if you see that it's caked on, then definitely probably try to strip as much as you can. But you know, it's a process, it takes time. If you want to, go ahead and do it, but I don't see a value in it personally, because I've only ever repainted my models, and I'm not going nuts on my own models, making them impossible to repaint. Especially like if it's contrast painted, like you're pretty good just to repaint over the top of that. Like it's liquid. It's not gonna cake up on itself like other things might, like actual paint might. We can hit his feet because we know that we're painting those black. So just get in there, try to get behind there and get in the ear, and there's like this little flap in here. Just kind of stab it with the brush. So it's its face all good now. And we can hit the black with this red, because this red is lighter than the black, so it's not going to really show up that much. If anything, it'll kind of look like we tinted it a little bit, which is fine. I gotta get down in here now, which, like I said, you're not really seeing it, so just kind of doing the best you can with some swipes here and there so that when you look down, you don't see the white. That's all we're trying to do here. And then even here, Okay. Just want to fix the little piece there. Okay. And then we're good. And here, again, same thing. We're not really worried about the wing colors right now. It's just getting these guys covered. And you're not worried about the base either, because that is going to be covered with basing paste. So, whew, my arm is getting tired. It's got bloody wings. Okay, now we gotta get kind of oof. Okay. Now we gotta do the other side here. This brush in there. Make sure you get the tops. Make sure we get all the sides of it. We gotta get here. I'm just going down there and following the lines up. And then what you can do also is get down here, because we can definitely see some of it in here, and just cover. It's not perfect, but it works. Yeah, let's continue to work back towards the back of the Maw Crusher here. Keeping an eye out for where we start our transition from the skin to the scales. We're definitely going to have to keep it pretty good in here because there's lots of white and we want to cover up all the white. So we can kind of see here, and here we can see where all the white is, and where the white is. Let me get that covered. And then work on these legs. I need a smaller brush to get up in there. Got this one. And we can definitely get this one here. I'm just kind of twisting the brush to give us the separations that we need. Sorry that I keep hitting that with my head. Just wipe that off. Okay, now be careful when you're in here because you don't want to splash it. We don't want to splash it on the brown that we have. So just slow it down when you get towards the area where there's more brown on there. Let me see, we gotta get up here more around Gordrak. Need to get under there, make sure it's all covered up. Just gotta get around the spine now. It's two-faced. We got him half white, half red. Okay, same thing. Be careful around the feet here. I'm gonna keep those feet that color. Which, again, though, don't worry too much down here because there will be basing paste down here, so you don't have to super worry. And then the inside of the leg here is not the tan color. It's still the same color of his leg. And what I'm doing is I'm like pulling the brush up and like spinning it as I go to kind of keep it favoring the side that I want red. So I'm spinning counterclockwise to keep it kind of favoring this way. And we did get some on there, so we'll have to go through and pick that up, or not. I mean, we can always see at the end like where that piece sits in comparison to him, and if you'll be able to see it, and then you know it's not really worth the effort if you can't see that little teeny piece in there. Red and blue is a pretty good color scheme. I think I used it for my Infinity models that I painted on this channel. Remember we did like a red and blue color scheme. Just be extra careful in this area where the ropes are. Just stick my head in frame here really quick. Okay, and then just start heading on over. other side. And you really want to make sure we're getting in these cracks here, because that's where, if we missed anything, it's going to show up the most. Okay, over here, same thing with this leg as we did with the other leg. Just in a different pose. So getting at some of these spots is a little bit more tricky. What is this here? Oh, it's like get the front of the piece right there. Ooh, almost 30 minutes of red contrast paint. Who would have thought? If you were doing this like from scratch though, it would definitely be a lot faster, because you're not avoiding some areas that I'm avoiding right now to try to preserve paint on them. So you got that going for you. You're starting some orkies. Now his knee, the front of his knee is not painted, and it's driving me nuts, and I can't get it. Maybe normally I would recommend painting Gordrak first, since he is on the higher level, so that when you do things like washes and stuff, and if they do start to drip down, it won't do as much damage to the thing you're trying to preserve, which is the Maw Crusher right here. But I really wanted to paint the Maw Crusher today, so if you really want to paint something, just paint it. And then damn the consequences. Worry about those later. That's future you problem. That's future yours problem. You know what? Screw that guy or girl. Okay, I think that covers all of the back. So now I can switch to this side. And just start pulling it down. I like starting in the higher areas, because if I have a lot on my brush, then it'll start kind of help flowing down, so that it doesn't pool in certain areas. I definitely have a lot of stuff showing that I don't want to show. So and just kind of, I'd rather have it be red than white. Okay. Get the back of the wing here. Wing plate, I don't know what you want to call this, but you know, this bit. Oh, his forearm. It's the back of his forearm. He's a thick boy. Whew, my arm's hurting today. Been priming all these models. I don't recommend priming a bunch of models at once, man. Especially like my patio does not recommend it, because it was like, what the heck is going on out here? All the dust and stuff from the primer. It's okay that we got some of these white, because we know from our paint scheme that some of them are black. So we'll just kind of muscle through this part. But it's better to have it spill over than to have the white showing for this paint scheme anyway, because it doesn't have white on those areas for my new colors. So I'm leaning more towards keeping it heavy in some areas versus others. We can just wipe off these on the straps here. One more to go on the front after this. And then we just got the back side of it to go. And then we can let this guy dry, because we're definitely going to want him to be dry before we start slapping on any other paints. Okay, so just flip it here. Grab our brush and suss out any of the white, and then just paint over it. Sometimes it's easier to follow the lines if you just look at the top and see where the line goes, and then just follow it down into the darkness where you can hopefully get at it. Like here, got some here that we need to try to get on his hand, and down here just get some. Just kind of do it pretty ghetto in here. What you can. And then there's also some hidden spots back here that we missed. That we can't really super duper get, but we can kind of see in there. And what we can do is we go heavy and then just let the liquid kind of just set in and take over the rest of it. Now we get this last piece here. So you only have to paint over the spots that are going to be light. You don't have to paint over, if you're painting darker than it is, then you don't have to really paint over the top of it. You can, it certainly might help with the end color, but it's not mega necessary. Let's get here, notice some bits here. Did we get the hand here? We did. Not sure. Right, and that is the contrast on the Maw Crusher. Now we'll have to come in and start getting everything else, but gotta let it dry first. So see you in a bit after these chunks of paint have dried off this guy. All right, we're back. We're gonna continue painting our Maw Crusher. Let's go for the wings now. We use this German camo beige World War II. Ooh, we got some spots that look like we're gonna have to touch up too with the red that dried and shrank and stuff like that, that it didn't quite cover everything we needed it to. So we'll just get in there. So now, I want to be careful in the, oops, he says as he hits the red, be careful in the areas that we are painting, as we were painting close to the red, and just do your best to get that covered. I don't know how well this is gonna cover. Preliminary look does not look promising. So let's actually switch to like a bigger brush. We shouldn't be using that small of a brush for this. What was this brush used for? Who knows? We can be pretty cavalier in the middle here. It's mostly at the ends that we want to be the carefulest. If there's a little bit of a blue tint coming through, that might not be the worst thing in the world, since the blue and the red pair really nice together. And again, you know, this is like the cheater way, but you know, it's a little throwback to our old color, you know? But also the lazy part in me is like, that's just what it is, you know? That's what it's supposed to be like that. That's what you say when it's what's it Bob Rock's called? Happy accident? So maybe we'll have a happy accident all over this guy. But But we'll see as we get through this more. What we're really trying to cover up right now is the red that we spilled over. So just kind of get in there, do your best. Because again, this is a really tight space. Oops. So, I mean, you're not gonna, it might be pretty difficult to get all of this. Probably have to do a couple coats on here just to get that nice and smoothed out. So it's one section. The insides are not going to be fun. I can already, like, from when we were doing the red, I can tell you that it's going to be a little rough to get in there. We'll re-get all this stuff out again when we wash the wings, so don't worry that we're covering up the dark spots and stuff right now. Going in the areas. Do our best to not hit the little tendon parts. That's what we're gonna call them. We're gonna call them tendons. I don't know what they're actually called. Somebody know? Somebody know what they're called? Like the little spines in between wings. Cool. Because then we'll look like this when we're done. We'll have to get some more of those areas too. See, we're going through, we're fixing our old model and repainting it at the same time. Let's leave this out because they're probably gonna need it. I think for the most part our skin got good coverage on it. Don't have to worry there with. And then what we're gonna do here really quick, we're gonna switch to a smaller brush in this area because this is a tighter area that we want. Preserve these black bits as much as possible. And we're definitely gonna have to go over them, but preserve what you can when you can. Saves you some extra work later. I don't know if this paint scheme makes it more boring because it's more like traditional, right? Traditional dragon colors, but you know, at the end of the day, I like it more. And that's all that matters. But I mean, if you're trying to go for, you know, something unique, definitely like a red dragon is not the way to go for that. water in here. And this is kind of how you're supposed to paint with maybe like a couple, 2 thin coats is what you're supposed to be doing. But you can do 1 less thin coat. Okay. Oh, the insides, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do it. So right now we're just gonna go on to the other side right here, and we're gonna get this wing. Let's just get some water in it. Just blowing it to see if there's any hollow spots that I covered. You definitely want to get those taken care of. Because otherwise you'll have just like a big flap of paint in there. You don't want that. I think if the blue's showing through, just we have a little bit. Once we do the wash, it's going to kind of drown out the rest of it, so it's okay that it's there. Like I said, I didn't prime this model, reprime it, because I wanted to maintain some of the colors that are on here. Some of the more tedious stuff, like the black for the claws and stuff on all these little spikies. I didn't want to have to do those again. So again, if you're doing this at home, it's probably a lot easier because you're just going from a blank canvas to whatever you're painting. So let's get that. And there. Okay, and one more spot here with the smaller brush. Because we're getting close in here. few little pokes into there. Watch me have to end up going through and then redoing all the black anyway, so that I could have just reprimed this whole thing. But it's part of the thing we'll find out together. Painting this that we'll find out together if I have to do. And you can fast forward, see my failure. I cannot. Here we go. Now we go to the insides. Just kind of have it on its side here. And just kind of guide the brush in there along the side of these little bones on the wings. Good there. This one's a little tight. So let's just get that carefully. Just kind of push our brush into the area and massage it into the areas that need the paint. Okay. Same thing, just be really careful around the tops here. Make sure you're getting the top really good because that's where it flips over the wing. Okay. And just kind of same thing. Move down there. And massage our brush around. You are gonna miss some spots when you do it like this, but there's spots you're not gonna really be able to see anyway. But you will miss also like the underhangs on these. Like if a spot is sticking out more underneath, it's not gonna grab it because you're brushing upwards. If you wanted to, you can kind of just go like this, but you're gonna miss some of these like the holes and stuff like that we have on the front of the wings that we were drawing. You can also just see what you can get normal ways up. Just kind of find a hole and so. You can see we have like an underhang right there. It got missed, some over here. Just do your best to get those and cover those up. Now we got this last piece, which is pretty uncovered for us to go for. Make sure we get the top really good. same kind of strategy here. Just following that little pocket into the crevice. And be careful when you're around the leg here. Same thing here. Get in there. Cool. So that covers that side. Now we have to do this side, which I think is way worse, a way worse offender. We'll just do what we can. And then we'll take our red and touch up all the red. So people call this model the cabbage, because if you look at the box art, it's a green Maw Crusher, and how it's like kind of on a ball. It looks like a cabbage. It's kind of funny. You have this dope model that got sculpted by some guy. Took him forever. And then everyone's just like, oh yeah, it looks like a cabbage. And he's like, that guy's probably like, God dang it. Like, why are they gonna call it a cabbage? That thing took me a whole year to sculpt or something, right? Like, it's been relegated to becoming called the cabbage. It's not his fault. I mean, it got approved by the art director, right? Like, let's see here. Stuff in there. Just get the tops in. I forgot we can see kind of down there. So I'm just kind of stabbing what I can. What I can see down there, just to get some more coverage for peace of mind. Because I can kind of see it, so I'd like to kind of cover it. Because I will obsess about it if I don't. I'll be like, how hard is it to rip off these wings and put them on again? Like, and that's not something you want to be doing. You could. I'm pretty sure I put him together with super glue. I'm not 100% sure. But if I did put it together with super glue, technically I should be able to put him in the freezer and then snap it off pretty easily. But it's a big risk for such a big model. You don't want like some glaring rip line on it, you know, that everyone would be able to see that you broke it. Maybe you do. You can be like, it's a battle scar, and you just paint it all bloody or something on the Maw Crusher. But that's not what I'm going for. And then we just got this guy left, which is a little awkward, so pardon the camera for a second while I just quickly get in there and this done. Just make sure we get all the blue that we can see. All right, cool. So we did it. We got his wings painted. His wings of glory. So now let's take our red and then just grab some of these areas. Red right here. You can see right here, we missed a couple spots, especially like in a scaling model like this. It's gonna be a little spotty at some points. It's got lots of like crevices that things need to get into. But it's not bad. We got pretty good coverage our first go. And then we'll just check up here. Mostly looking around the feet of Gordrak there to see that we got it. And just getting all these little extra bits kind of standing out. Cool. So now we can go to some of this armor parts on him and the black. So let's put this back down. And let's get our black out. Ooh. When that happens. Just the thing got stuck in the tube and I had to pull it out like that. Okay, so get our black paint and we'll start going to these claws and stuff and see what needs to be touched up from what we did earlier. So just look at it, especially here because I had to paint him white. So there's definitely spots that I probably missed out and hit the Maw Crusher. And then there's even spots like from our old painting of the Maw Crusher that are a little whack right now. So just going through those and picking those out. What is there so much black paint on my hand for? Okay, so then just kind of go down and look at all the leading edges on these. And then also we're going to be picking out some of these guys and painting them black as well. To be our armored bits on our guys. So we have black and white armor bits on our army, so there'll be black and white armor bits on him. And there'll be like a purple highlight on it too. Or like a ghetto highlight, I guess. So just get in there, get the edges. Do your best to cover all that white up in there. White paint does not hide your crimes. So let's clean up some of these little bits here. They're a little elevated on here, which is fine. Once we do the wash on the wings, it'll clean up pretty nicely. The inside here of these claws over here, or the spikes, whatever. And we'll just clean up some of these edges here. You don't have to be as crazy, especially on the undersides, because the undersides are covered Oops, we missed a whole bunch of red right there. So we'll have to go through that. See, this is why we do these things. We gotta go back through these and just clean up all of past Dale's mistakes. So just looking around, get some white on there. There, and that. Okay, and then I think we'll paint this one will be painted black. On this side, okay, we're good in there, and then the side of the face is good, and then we can get probably right here. Just to clean it up. Okay, so now let's get that red and get those areas that we spotted out when we were doing this part. So I had noticed a spot right here. So let's clean that. And then like this whole side of this back foot I missed. So let's get in there. And just cover that. Cool. All right, now let's get our white and clean up the white paint that we have on here for the little armor plates, because there's definitely a lot of red on them. So we need to go here. And this is that matte white that we use for the white prime. So it'll match our white that's on the model as close as we can get it. If we want to, we can kind of do like a weird highlight into this, but it's not gonna work because we have stuff right here. Clean all of that. Definitely gotta get the back. And then same thing on this piece right here, which looks pretty good. So just gotta get the little top bit right there. Cool. All right, well that should have plenty of time to have dried by now. Well, speaking of what red we missed, there's a whole bunch also I just saw. So get our red again. And we missed inside of his arm here. Which we want to get and cover. There we go. So there's not like a big white piece sticking out right there. We have the same on this side as well. I guess I just decided to quit when I got to the arms. I don't know. Just gotta get some good light in there and stab at it when you can. With what you can. Here we go. So now we can go on to the wash. Well, actually, no, let's do the purple. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's get our blue violet. And then mix that in with our black over here and the waist over here. Okay. Definitely want more purple. And we can just kind of tag our top areas here. And same thing here. It's only for the armor bits, so it's not going to be on like the whole rest of this guy. And then we're going to wash off our brush a little bit here. Grab a little bit of black paint and just kind of pull the rest of it into the model here. So it's more of kind of like a wet blend, a ghetto wet blend. Let's do some ghetto wet blending. All right, cool. Now we can go into the wash. So we want Agrax Earthshade for the brown. We'll take our brush, grab him by there. Did we start on this side? I think we did. So get our wash flowing in there. Get all that detail popping out for us. Do all the hard work that we don't do ourselves, because we want these tabletop ready. So let's paint this on there. Same thing, just get it in all these areas. I don't know why it's so bubbly. It's a little concerning. You definitely don't want like a bunch of bubbles on your model. So just kind of go back through here. That big wing. Just checking my brush to make sure that the paint isn't coming off onto the brush. That would indicate that this isn't dry yet. Okay. We also had missed some brown wash back in the day. Just make sure we're getting those areas covered. So let's go here. We have some extra, we got a big drop in there, so we're just using that as like a reservoir to pick up the too much that we put in there and moving it to a different area. we gotta get the insides. We can let it drip a little bit in there so it'll get down to the below. I might coat some of our white that we had missed and get that kind of all coherent down there. Because what happens down there, we have no idea. We can't see it, we don't know what's going on. Here, same thing, just coat the area, let it fall in. And lastly, this little area right here. Hooray! Ooh, this goes here. And I think that does it. I mean, we'll probably have to do a dry brush over the, wait, let's get, there's some stuff that I missed. Let's get some of our, what did we use? We used, that's what we used. Okay, so let's use our leather brown. Where is it? Leather brown. There's some like ropage that we missed. And we can't exactly use our contrast paint on it because of where it is. So just get some right here, and then just right here there's a little rope. We can just get that just to tidy that up a little bit, that area up. Same thing, just kind of clean up the straps that are on here. Get some of the super harsh reds off of it from the painting. And big surprise, we noticed another spot of red that is missing. So let's get that. And it's like this whole little area in there, up there, and then there's some on here as well as right there. Okay. Now we can get our gunmetal and go over those metallics just to give them a little refresh. Especially the chains, because those got a lot of red on them, and I mean they'll probably need to be painted again once we get him started, but for now, let's finish the Maw Crusher off by fixing those bits. So there's that. There's this guy right here. Let's just clean up that stuff. And just do a little glance around here. We got this chain's looking okay. This chain is also looking okay. I mean, not up here, but like I said, we'll worry about that part, the higher up part later. Let's get down there. And get our black and get this spiky here, spiky there. And that's good. We'll call that done. That is our Maw Crusher painted. Then we'll have to move on to the guy next, to Gordrak. But As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. New videos every Wednesday, and new podcasts on Saturday. And we'll see you on the next one. Later.